Welcome to the Learn True Health podcast. I'm your host, Ashley James. This is episode 308.
I am so thrilled today with this topic because so many people are suffering. Millions of people are suffering from this, and there's a natural solution to helping them. I have Tim Flatt here today. He's the founder of Real-Time Pain Relief. And this company has amazing all-natural creams that help people to lessen or even in some cases completely eliminate their pain. And we've seen people decrease or even get off of their pain medications, whether it's over the counter or they need to go back to their doctor and work with their doctor to lessen their prescription or get off their prescription. I am so thrilled with the work this company is doing. Now, I had Sherry Weaver on the show in episode 257, and she shared some testimonials that will bring tears to your eyes. So if you love this topic, this idea of decreasing or eliminating pain naturally, then go back and listen to episode 257 after you've listened to this one, because it's a great addition to the talk we're going to have today. Tim, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. I know you just flew to Hawaii to be with your son for Thanksgiving, so I'm very happy that you were able to carve out some time away from your family to be with us today. So welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. I am thrilled by the results that your cream has in the lives of my family. So when I interviewed Sherry Weaver, I got really excited about the cream, and I ended up buying a bunch for several of my family members. I have an aunt and uncle in their 80s who are in pain daily and sometimes just can't even leave the house. They're in so much pain, and I sent them a big box of, I didn't know which one to get them, so I got them like every single one of your different creams because I know each one works a little differently, and they loved them. They couldn't believe it. They were so excited. I gave some to my chiropractor who has arthritis in his hands, and he's actually been threatening to retire, which I cannot have my chiropractor retire on me. I love him. And so I gave him some, and he loved it. And the list goes on and on. My mother-in-law gave her some. She's been healing from a back injury. Everyone I gave your cream to has noticed a tremendous difference. And so I'm just thrilled that we can help our friends and family who are in pain. Now, today we're going to talk about your company, which is really exciting, just to dive in and learn more about it. We're also going to talk about something really interesting that's near and dear to my heart, which is Painkiller Awareness Month and what that means. And you're going to teach us some things that's going to help us to take responsibility and take action and get past pain. Because sometimes when we're hit with pain, we can't even think clearly, and we just want it to be over. And we end up doing things sometimes that hurt our bodies when we could, when now the listeners know we can reach out to companies like Real-Time Pain Relief for the natural solutions. So I'm excited to have this talk with you today. First, I'd love to dive in to your story because you have an amazing one, especially how Real-Time Pain Relief was born. I'd love to hear about that.
I'll be glad to talk about that. And by the way, Ashley, having customers and friends of our company and our product like you is what's made the company so successful through the years. We're celebrating our 20th year this year, and what happened back in 1998, a report came out by the Institute of Medicine, and it talked about how many side effects and how negative some of the really the over-the-counter drugs could be, as well as the prescription drugs for painkillers. And when that happened, at the time I happened to be coaching high school basketball, junior high basketball, and I noticed a lot of my young guys before practice and after practice were popping some over-the-counter pills, and I had just I'm not even sure why I came across that report, but it really impacted me because I thought to myself, here are all these guys, 13, 14 years old, and they're taking these painkillers that actually just so they can play basketball, and in the end, these are really bad for them. It could affect their liver, it could affect their kidneys, could affect their intestinal bleeding, all sorts of things that come from this. And that's just really those are the lighter ends. And so I got thinking about it and realized that something needed to be done. Of course, I grew up in a time frame when I ran cross country back in college, and we used products that you put them on and they just made your knee they really burned. They used capsicum, and they burned so much that you didn't feel your knee, which obviously creates an opportunity to do more damage. And so, anyways, we were looking for something different, and we came up with this concept that we called ingredient-based therapy. And I got together with a doctor, a chemist, and myself, and I was a coach at the time. And so we say the doctor, the dentist, and the coach, and we started putting together formulas and started trying to come up with our own topical pain relief that was focused on natural ingredients. And after 3 or 4 tries in the lab and a lot of suggestions, we came up with our first and our original formula. And we began then to give it away to the kids that played basketball and then to other teams. And it started off not as a business, but really as just a way to help people, and almost like a charity at first. And then we started giving away so much product, we realized, hey, we better start selling this or we'll go broke giving it away. And that's how it got started.
That is so amazing. Did people start saying to you, like, can I buy this for my friend, or I need to ship this to my parents, or were people coming to you and asking to sell it or to buy it or distribute it?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. I remember one time going to a basketball team camp up at Oklahoma Baptist University, and they had probably 100 teams, different teams up there, and you play 3 games a day for 3 days, so it's 9 games in 3 days, and it's just brutal. And our kids were all using our product, and at the time we had a natural ingredient in it called indigo, and it started off as a blue, but after a few months the product turned green, and everybody was going around saying, hey, who's got that green stuff? We need some of that green stuff. And all these different kids were coming up and asking us, and coaches were saying, hey, is there a way I can get some for my team and sell this stuff? And that's when we realized that the word of mouth was the most powerful part of this. And we originally planned on this just to be in the sports market. But what happened is over the next 5 to 7 years, it was not really, like I said, it wasn't a business for us. It was more of a passion. And we did sell the product just so we didn't go broke giving the product away. But what happened over the next period of time, we took a look at we decided, let's make this into a real business and start selling it. We took a look at our demographics, and what happened was that it ended up being predominantly for people in their 50s, 60s, and 70s using it for arthritis. And so we started off in one direction, and then the market kind of demanded that it moved that way. And we never went to people in that age group. So everybody who got our product for those first 7, 8 years, that really became part of our demographic when we decided to begin marketing it on a bigger level. Everybody came through somebody just like yourself telling a mother, a grandmother, an aunt, an uncle about the product. And of course, that's how you know you have a winner. When word of mouth is your primary form of advertising and your business keeps growing, you know you've got a great product.
Absolutely. So what happened then? So you switched over and it became a business. And this is that must have been pretty soon after 1998, or was 1998 when you incorporated and made it become a business?
Well, in 1998, we actually incorporated it and got insurance and all the kinds of things you do. For that first 3 to 5 months, we just gave it away, and then we started selling it after that. And I had a friend of mine who's a business partner and a co-founder in the company, and still involved as an equal partner. His name is Ron Snodgrass. Well, both Ron and I owned businesses, separate businesses, and we continued to run those businesses. And this was just kind of, like you said, like kind of a passion project. And then what happened is around 2004, I sold my other business. In 2006, he sold his other business. And then we looked at each other in 2007 and said, hey, I think this could be a really nice business. But it was more than, it wasn't just that we wanted a business at that point. What happened was we both had numerous family members. So I have 4 sons now, 4 sons, and their ages are like 35, 34, 33, and 31. So if you go back to 2007, about 10 years younger. And we thought, let's go ahead and start this business, but let's make it a family business, and let's work with our family. Let's use it as a way to teach my sons, his daughters, business, and
Very
as a
cool.
way for us to kind of take that next step in kind of another passion project and having a family business, because up until that point, both of us had businesses that we worked exclusively with other people, not with family at all. And over the years, his mom and dad work for the company now, and of course, both wives work for the company. Three of my sons work for the company, and three of my daughter-in-laws work for the company. And so it's really just an interesting time how it's become a family business, and to watch it grow and to watch them grow. And it also gives us an excitement for that down the road, there's going to be an opportunity for our to be able to pass this business on and let them continue to run it. And it's very exciting.
That is really cool. I know at one point, I think you guys were a network marketing company, and then you decided that wasn't right for you. And so you now have distributors. Can you talk a little bit about that? I know our listeners, about 20% of our listeners are holistic health practitioners who would be really interested in understanding how they could help their clients and their patients who have pain.
When we started off back and really the decision we made in 2010 was to build this through home business. And the reason for that was that we'd had so much success with everybody sharing the results of the product, and we believe in sample to sell. And so our goal was to provide a way for people to try it first and see the results and then make a purchase. And so we decided, we had a lot of people who were doing events like state fairs and marathons, and or setting up booths at those and selling the product. And so we decided that we would create a vendor business. And so it was a home business. We called it leveraged wholesale marketing, a little bit different from what you would network marketing, because the focus was on selling product.
Mm-hmm.
But then we did that for 7 years. And we had always planned that would be a temporary part of our business. And so in 2017, we converted the business to what's now a wholesale rewards program. And so it doesn't matter whether you're a healthcare practitioner, a small privately owned retail store, or somebody who wants to do events. We open it up for people to come in and to purchase product and at wholesale, sell at retail, and make a profit like any business would do. And that's been our model now for the last year and a half. A lot of our people who were part of our home business based start have continued to be vendors in our program. But it is open to all groups, and it doesn't have any what you would call network marketing leverage to it. It's just a very straightforward program where you buy, sell, and then also earn rewards points for your purchases and things like that.
So anyone could. I mean, anyone could join at that level, and if they have friends and family they want to share it with, and they earn some rewards. Is that true?
Right, exactly. We call that we kind of look at it in our term we use as kind of a brand ambassador. Just somebody out there. We've always said that the cycle of our product is this here. First, you get somebody who tries a product and they like it and they buy it. And then typically after they have used it and they see the results of it, they become advocates of ours. Mm-hmm. And they begin telling people and sending them to our website and sending them to Amazon to buy product or wherever it might be. And they do that for a period of time. And then all of a sudden they say, I wonder if I could make some money doing this, because I'm referring a lot of people to the company. And that's kind of how we just started it. And we still have that in place where people can do that. But it also works, like say, we have barber shops, and we have small health food stores. We have, even some, 13 to 15 store health food chains that sell our product. And we have chiropractors, massage therapists, all sorts of people. Anybody who their goal is ultimately to get people help people get out of pain. Mm-hmm. We're open to becoming a rewards member. One funny story I'll tell you. We went to a chiropractor event, and we had this chiropractor sign up, and he bought some product, bought quite a bit of product, and then he reordered and bought more product, and reordered and bought more product, and then our person that handles that gave him a call and talked to the front desk and said, you guys, it's about time for you to put another order in. Can I help you with that? And she said, well, we're not going to carry your product anymore. And she said, well, is it not working? Are customers unhappy? She goes, no, it's working too well and we're losing business. So the chiropractor decided not to sell the product anymore.
Oh, that's just unethical.
Well, it is, but it's kind of the goal has to be, if you want to help people, our product really does help people. And it's really all about ingredient-based therapy. It's about the fact of using, that we use anywhere from 18 to 23 different ingredients in the product, where the other topical pain reliefs, although other topical pain reliefs are certainly effective, they a lot of times just use one ingredient, one natural ingredient. And so it doesn't have the effect that ours has over time. And so we see that that's been our key. It's all about the ingredients.
Sherry Weaver shared in the episode 257, she says that she's feels blessed that she doesn't have any pain, so she can't really relate to people on that level, but she uses the cream to help her fall asleep at night, and she notices a huge difference because she's a very busy person and has a lot of tension. By the time she's ready to like go to sleep at night, her shoulders, my mom used to say, don't wear your shoulders like earrings. You're so tense that your shoulders are up by your ears. And she uses the cream on her shoulders and neck at night, and it just makes all the tension melt away from her neck and shoulders, and it really helps her to relax. And I thought that was really cool that it has that anti-inflammatory property, that it's not only helps with pain, but it also helps just with relaxing the muscles as well.
Well, actually, and that's the great thing about this business. In 20 years now, I've never heard of somebody using it for that. I didn't know that Sherry did that. I know she runs real fast all the time, and I could see why she would have tension. But certainly, that's the great. We always tell people when they ask us, does it work for something? And of course, the FDA limits what we're allowed to say that the product works on. And so if they ask about something that we're not allowed to talk about, we just say, try it.
Right.
You just try it and decide for yourself. And that's what happens. And people see, we get all sorts of testimonials from people that we can't even put on our website because they're making claims about it working for things that we're not allowed to say it works for. But it works for so many things. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that's the frustration. We're happy the FDA protects us, but sometimes it limits us, especially in the holistic field. It really can limit us because there are natural things out there that really do help to resolve issues. You can't claim anything around a disease. So if someone says, will this help my fibromyalgia? Will this help my diabetes, peripheral neuropathy? Will this help anything that's like a diagnosis? You cannot make a claim that it's going to help a diagnosis, but you can make structure and function claims. So it supports the structure and function of your knee, or so there's this sort of a little limbo you have to work with the language to not throw up any red flags. But I like your suggestion. Just try it, see if it works. There's no harm. It's just cream, right? There's no harm in trying it and seeing if it works. Speaking of harm, are there any side effects? Have people had any side effects, or these ingredients are completely safe?
We have never had one complaint of a side effect from our product in 20 years. So we don't know of any. Obviously, to make a statement that it has no side effects would be tough for us to say, but there are no known side effects. I can say that for sure. And one of the reasons for that is that, we're committed to using menthol in a much lower level than most companies.
Mm-hmm.
So most companies believe that the way to help stop the pain is to mask it and to kind of freeze the pain, either freeze it or heat it up with capsicum so that you don't really feel it. We believe that that's not the way to go, so we use a maximum of 1.5% of menthol in our products. So that's the first thing we do. The second thing, And I think this is, to me, uh, equally as important. And if you're going to be out there and creating if you're going to have your product and you're going to only just turn up the heat to stop the pain, there's a study that came out back in the 1930s. It was actually a German scientist that had discovered this, and it was called substance P. And the scientist, this discovery was that substance P is in your body, and what substance P does is it kind of builds up over time, and it reduces the threshold of pain relief. So, for example, if you think about it, the first time you took an Advil or an Excedrin or whatever you took for that headache, I mean, it was like magic. I mean, the headache just was gone in no time. But then over time, maybe it took 2 Advil, or you had to move up to a Aleve or whatever, because your body, when you stop the pain by masking it, your body creates substance P, and substance P then blocks the painkillers from getting to the receptacles it needs to go to. And so the more substance P you have, then the lower your threshold of pain, in essence. And so when you start using products that have 3 and 5 and 8 and even 12% menthol, not only are those not that good because it allows you to do additional damage, but we believe that those actually cause a dependency on painkillers, because the fact that you have so much substance P in your body that you're not getting the relief you need from the lower dosage. And that's how people end up even moving up to the prescription levels and stuff like that. And so there is a significant danger related to substance P, and that's one of the reasons we stay with a 1.5% maximum on our menthol. We believe that that's, along with our other natural ingredients, we believe that that's a safe blend, and it actually helps people get rid of pain over a longer period of time.
That is fascinating. So it's a slippery slope when we start taking over-the-counter pain meds for something that we're not addressing the root cause. So let's say someone has tendinitis, or they have a headache, but they're not looking at what is causing the headache, or what's causing the constant inflammation to the tendon, for example. Or they have a knee injury that they keep re-injuring because they're not going to take 2 weeks off to rest their knee. And so they start with the over-counter medications. They start with creams that have high amounts of menthol, and the substance P starts to formulate in the body, and now they need to take more and more and more drugs, or more and more and more cream, which those kinds of creams, the high menthol creams, can further injure our bodies, because when we mask something completely and don't feel it, then we just go, oh, I can just run up the flight of stairs with it, when my knee isn't fully healed, or
100% right.
And so we're not listening until the body breaks even further. So it's so we don't want to artificially 100% mask pain when we need to look at why is that pain there. If it's an injury, for example, we need to take the time to rest it. I had a friend who works at Boeing, and he had a knee injury that it was just months because he wouldn't take 2 weeks off. He decided he couldn't take 2 weeks off to really rest his knee. And it got to the point where they're like, you need knee surgery. And then he's like, oh, wow, I really went too far. I really damaged myself to the point where now this is serious. And then he took some time off and did physical therapy, and luckily avoided the surgery. But he did just that. He went for the over-the-counter pain meds more and more and more and more, and went for those high menthol creams and everything he could get his hands on just to stop the pain completely. But then he would keep re-injuring it because he couldn't feel what his knee was trying to tell him. And so what you're looking to do with real-time pain relief cream, you have a variety of different creams for sort of a little that give a little bit of different results depending on what the person needs. But you're not looking to mask something completely so the body creates more substance P and then has more dependency. You're looking to help the body to reduce inflammation and heal, so that they have a reduction of pain. But I have heard some people say they have a complete elimination of pain, which is really cool. But that if that knee is trying to tell you, hey, you're pushing me too hard, I'm still injured, that with real-time pain relief cream, they'll feel something. So they'll know, oh, I need to back off. I really need to rest my knee still to let it heal.
Well, that's true. And I think whoever came up with the phrase, no pain, no gain, really caused a lot of injuries to our youth, because they just believe if you don't play through it, you're not tough enough. And there's just times when you just need rest, and that's a problem. On the other hand, that's what excited us about working with our I don't want to say our older people. I mean, I'm 57 now, so I'm in that group, I guess. But people in their 50s and 60s and 70s, we saw the results we were giving when they were starting to use our product. They had basically stopped getting out and walking, or stopped gardening, or stopped doing things they loved to do because the pain was too much. And it was amazing to us to get stories in, that would people say, hey, I was able to get off of this prescription drug in just 2 weeks because I started using real-time pain relief. That stuff was that was kind of addictive to us, and so we just really continue to focus in the age group that was kind of, they understood that the pain was bad and they needed to slow down, and just try to help them get their lives back. And nothing's more exciting than that, than help people get their lives back.
Well, and it's sort of like a catch-22. They had too much pain to go out walking or gardening, but by stopping activity, that actually,
it's even worse.
That's worse, right? I've had a physical therapist on the show that specializes in pain, and he says when you stop moving your body, you're actually going to create chronic pain because your body needs to move. You need to have some movement. But if you had like a little bit of arthritis pain that had you stop altogether, well, now it's worse. I have a friend who has bad arthritis, and she does chair yoga in the morning. The first thing in the morning before she even gets out of bed, she just sits on the edge of the bed and does chair yoga, and it warms up her joints, and she notices a big difference in her quality of life throughout the day. So it's that moving your body and lubricating your joints and lubricating your body by moving that's really important. But like you said, those people who stop gardening or stop walking because of the pain will end up with more pain. And then with your cream, now they have that relief that they can go and begin walking again or gardening again, which is now going to help their whole body to reduce pain in the long term. So that's really exciting. I love it. You have a passion project, and that is painkiller awareness. You have a website, painkillerawareness.org, and so tell me about Painkiller Awareness Month. I've never heard of it, but I am an advocate for helping people who may be addicted to pain meds or maybe on their way to becoming addicted to pain meds. I have a cousin who, unfortunately, her marriage ended in divorce because her partner divorced her because she was addicted to pain meds. And they were a beautiful couple, and it's really sad. And it just took over her life. And she's doing better now, but that was years of struggling in secrecy and shame and guilt. And it's so devastating how many people are on pain meds and have become addicted to them because it's just the chemistry of the body and the way the world's going and the way people are going. Just push through the pain, take the meds, keep going. And that you talk about substance P, and it just makes so much sense that we're going from just the over-counter pain meds to the prescriptions and then worse. I have another friend who, in the worst time in her fibromyalgia, she had 2 drawers full of meds, 2 drawers, and she had a pump that would pump morphine into her body that was attached to her body. I mean, can you imagine? She was on like enough meds that would kill a horse, and she was still in pain, and it was so heartbreaking. Luckily, she's actually cut her pain meds in half, now starting to go more natural remedies. So it's really exciting to see that. So, but it can get that bad where people are on, so many medications, and then they have a morphine pump and morphine patches, and it is just ridiculous. So tell me about Painkiller Awareness Month and what your mission is with painkillerawareness.org.
Okay, I was going to take you back to the beginning on this a little bit. And so in 1998, when the Institute of Medicine came out with a report, at the time they stated that there was um, almost 100 million people living in chronic pain. And they report stated that over the course of the year, 100,000 people are hospitalized from taking NSAIDs. Now that's like ibuprofen, all right? Um, they're hospitalized with intestinal bleeding, and that in emergency rooms, and 16,000 of those people don't come out of the hospital. And that was a report in 1998. I then heard a story. At the time, I lived in Oklahoma, and I heard a story a few years later about a young girl who was in a marching band at the University of Oklahoma, and she got a toothache. And when she got a toothache, she began taking Tylenol. And when she was taking Tylenol, she started taking 3 tablets a day for 3 days. And the recommended dosage is 8 tablets. Well, she took 3 tablets a day for 3 days. Her name was Maddie. Within a week, her body went into kidney failure,
Oh,
and she died. She was 19 years old, I think, or 20 years old. She took one pill over the recommended dosage, and she died. So I started hearing these stories because when you're in the pain relief business, you hear pain relief, you heard pain stories, and so in 2011, we decided to, or 2012, we decided to put together a website called painkillerawareness.org, and we decided to begin to promote some of these things we were hearing, and I think that we did some good with that, but I think at the same time we had kind of the wrong philosophy. And at that point, we were looking at the things, for example, we were looking at why are these doctors writing all these prescriptions for opioids? Why does the government not protect us? FDA, why does the drug companies produce these kinds of lethal dosages that you can get over the counter? Why are there 3 drug lobbyists in Washington D.C. for every congressman? And we're kind of putting the blame in these places, and we focused on that for a while, and then in 2013 it really fueled our fire because the Institute of Medicine came out with another report, a follow-up one 15 years later. And what they did, though, was really interesting. Instead of doing a new study on the prescription on these people that were going to the hospital and dying, and people who had kidney failure or whatever, they basically just took the exact same report and reported the exact same numbers 15 years later. 100,000 people a year going into the hospital, emergency rooms with intestinal bleeding, 16,000 people dying. And we looked at it and said, no, wait a second. There's 2 or 3 times the amount of these pills being sold 15 years later, and they're still reporting the same numbers. And so out of that, you kind of get kind of a conspiracy theory. You start to think everybody's, and you kind of get yourself caught up into that. Well, we decided this year, though, we actually took a little bit of break from promoting that because it was really distracting to us because we were so worried about what everybody was doing, and we couldn't see how we were helping people. So then last year we began talking about it again, and of course we share this information with our customers of real-time pain relief, but we weren't doing much outside of that. And we decided that we needed to take a different approach. And we decided that one of the ways we would do that, we would create a painkiller awareness month. And we picked December because there was no other major awareness month during that time frame. We began planning for that, and then what we decided that was important was we need to stop focusing on the conspiracy, stop focusing on the sales reps, the doctors, the big pharma, the lobbyists, Congress, the FDA. Stop focusing on that whole concept and focus on what makes a difference. And so this year in Painkiller Awareness Month, we're focusing on helping people take responsibility but by knowledge. or through knowledge for what they're taking. Because Maddie wouldn't have been saved by something being done differently by the FDA, but she would have been saved if she had known that she needs to take no more than 8, or even probably less than that, because she wasn't very big. And it would have helped if her doctor hadn't recommended, her dentist hadn't recommended her take Tylenol and not giving her a clear prescription. But he probably didn't know that it was that dangerous either. And so these are the kinds of things we think we can do that can make a difference. And so that's what Painkiller Awareness Month is about this year. And hopefully next year and the years to come is about helping people understand the dangers so they can take personal responsibility, because only you can make a difference in your health. And you can only make a difference if you know what you're doing. And so many times you hear people say, well, my doctor wrote the prescription, so it must be safe, or I'm just taking them, I'm not worried about it. But an opioid, you can become addicted to opioids with just a couple of pills, a couple of doses. I've seen it happen with members of my family. And then to fight that and to get off of it, it's a very dangerous thing to be putting things into your body and not knowing what they do.
My mother-in-law injured her back about 2 years ago, and she's very healthy, very active normally, and so she took a fall and it was injured, and so her doctor said, okay, I'm going to give you these 2 medications just to help you so you can relax and rest. And so I think one might have been a muscle relaxer and the other one was an opioid, like serious, like major, the things people would want to like crush and sniff kind of pill. And she was a little hesitant to take it, but she was in so much pain. And so we actually had her come and stay with us for a few days, and because her husband was on a trip, and so we didn't want her to be alone at the time. My husband went with her to get her prescription, and they came home, and I had an intuition. You got to listen to your gut. And you should do that. We should do this anyway with any prescription. But before she took it, I wanted to look at the bottle. I just had this inkling. And she's the kind of person that would trust. She trusts pharmacists do their job, doctors do their jobs. No one's malicious, right? No one's lazy or stupid, and everyone's really good at doing their job. So she has this trust, and I don't. So I looked at her bottle and I looked at the dosage. And, it's something like, I don't know, 25 milligrams, 50 milligrams, something like that. I look at it and then I open the bottle and look at what the pills look like. And then I Google it. And they have the wrong pills in that bottle. And I caught it. And it was, wow. They gave her the highest dose by mistake. And she was supposed to be on the lowest dose. So what she did was, she was breaking her pills in half, even though the doctor told her to take like one, twice or 3 times a day. She's a little cautious about opioids, so she broke it in half and took it. And thank God she did that. And I thought I'd caught her before she had taken one, but she had broken it in half and taken it, and she was out. She was on the couch. She couldn't move. She was like, "What is going on? Why do I feel so weird? This is so scary. Like, what's going on?" And luckily she broke it in half and didn't take the full. It says on the bottle, take 2. A few times a day. I mean, that might have killed her. And because it was the absolute highest dose, and it was the mistake of the pharmacist. And so we took it back and got the right dose, but it really made her gun shy about pharmaceutical pain meds. And this is so common. It's so common that these mistakes happen. And sometimes the pharmacist doesn't make the mistake, but the mistake is made at the level of the pharmaceutical company. There's a recent recall of certain major pharmaceuticals because of contamination, and the contamination is a carcinogen. So, even if the pill itself says it is what it is on the bottle, we just don't know. And we're working with something that, like you said, can shut down our kidneys, can shut down our liver. There's, you go to Costco, you can buy a lethal dose of acetaminophen.
Absolutely. Yep.
That's the scary part. Like, people think it's okay to drink those cough syrups. The NyQuil and the cough syrups.
Robitussin, yeah. Yep.
Exactly, because if you drink 1 bottle in a day, you just sip on it all day long because maybe you feel sick. That's enough acetaminophen to shut down your liver, and they sell a 2-pack of it. And so it's just really scary that even over the counter, like you said, over the counter meds can kill us unknowingly. And if someone has an underlying kidney or liver condition that they're not aware of, I mean, even if they took the recommended dose of, these pain meds, it could be enough to tip them over. And so I absolutely love that you have dedicated December to Painkiller Awareness Month. What can people do who, what should we teach people? So people who aren't in pain now but may experience pain in the future. Let's talk to them first. What can we arm them with to help them?
I have to ask you a question before I go on with that. Do you remember the Tylenol cyanide poisoning that took place in the Chicago area?
It's ringing a bell, but why don't you tell us?
Okay. It was back probably in the 70s, I guess. Maybe early 80s, but I think it was the 70s. But somebody was going into drugstores before they had the protective covers on them, and they were lacing Tylenol with cyanide.
Oh my gosh.
And it killed 8 people were killed by taking Tylenol. And it was as you can imagine, of course, it was before cable news, but it still was before cable news is what it is today for sure. It was everybody. It was the constant thing. It was as a national story. It went on for weeks, and they finally caught the person. But what's crazy about that is that more people die. I think it's every 6 months from Tylenol, taking the regular dose, than died in that major crisis we had in America over the cyanide poisoning. They just die from their liver failing. Tylenol is the number one cause of liver failure in America. Mm-hmm. And so it's just interesting how things are perceived. But what can you do? Well, the first thing I would say, you said start at the younger people who don't have pain right now.
Not necessarily younger, but let's talk to the people first that don't have pain, but that could have pain in the future. Like you said, like maybe they went to the dentist, or maybe they got an injury, or something happens. Something may happen in their future, and they experience pain. Let's educate them now, so they're not on pain meds now, but they may very well have pain in the future, and we want to arm them with information.
So I'm going to always, as a founder of Real Time Pain Relief, I'm going to always say, be prepared to take care of your body with the least invasive opportunity first, or at least invasive product first. And so I just recommend if you have any kind of pain, do targeted relief. I mean, if your knee hurts, rub some pain cream on your knee. And try to deal with things that way, and don't wait till it gets bad. If especially after activity, if you're like, well, I think my knee's going to hurt tomorrow morning, or my calf's going to hurt tomorrow, I always like to put it on after I do something that I think is going to cause pain or discomfort. And so that's the first thing I would do. The second thing I would do is if you have something that, for example, a toothache. I mean, Real Time Pain was not going to work for a toothache. And they say Tylenol is probably the best to take there. But here's what I would do is don't start taking the painkillers, and when the pain goes away, forget there's a problem. Still go get the tooth taken care of as quick as you can. Mm-hmm. Don't think you're okay, because you're really literally putting in poisons to your body. All right. Mm-hmm. So don't wait. And second of all is make sure you know the side effects. Or I guess I'm on third, make sure you know all the side effects. Because, a lot of people don't understand when they're taking ibuprofen at high levels to stop inflammation, that they're actually eating away their intestinal lining, and it can cause ulcers and intestinal bleeding. And so you want to make sure you know the side effects so you can watch for them. And then number 4, I would say is, and my wife is really good at this here, don't take more than you need, okay? And also try to wean yourself. So I thought it was really neat what your mother did. I think you're talking about her when she hurt her back there, and she took her pill in half. That we see that a lot more common in older generations than we do in younger people. Sometimes young people just, if they're supposed to take 2 painkillers a day and they take the first one and then they don't hurt later in the day, they take the second one because they're supposed to take 2 a day. If it doesn't hurt later in the day, don't take it.
Yeah.
Or take half. but have a plan. And especially if you have a product that's addictive, if you know it's a product that's addictive, as soon as you can, start taking less and start cutting your pills in half, taking them further apart. But it's your responsibility to make sure that you can try to get off of those as quick as you can, because there's no situation where you want to be taking any kind of painkiller for an extended period of time. It's never going to turn out good for you.
I'd like to add some tips.
Be great.
Dehydration can cause pain. And I think we're so busy, we don't count how many ounces we drink. And especially if we drink caffeine, that depletes our water further out of our body, or if we're in an area that's like the desert that is dry, then we're losing our moisture as well. We're losing our hydration. Dehydration not only can cause headaches, but it actually can cause joint pain because the joints are not lubricated. It can even cause muscle pain because if we're really dehydrated, our electrolytes are out of balance, our muscles can cramp. Cramping can be caused by a few things, but one of them is dehydration. And so the second you have a headache, you start to just drink the water, and you can drink some coconut water. You can dilute it if you want, but there's wonderful potassium in coconut water and electrolytes in coconut water. So instead of don't go towards the Gatorade or the sugar energy drinks, try to hydrate your body. And so I like to either add a little bit of just a little pinch of Himalayan salt and squeeze of lemon or lime is a great sort of all natural Gatorade, or drink that coconut water and then just continue to drink water afterwards. And it can take up to 7 days to fully bounce back and hydrate your body from dehydration. So you don't drink through glasses and go, I still have my headache, what's going on? Well, yeah, if you're really dehydrated, it can take up to 7 days. And you might notice you're running to the bathroom because you have to, pee a lot. And that actually is your body coming back into balance. But after 7 days of drinking, 80 to 100 ounces of water a day, it comes back into balance, and then you don't run to the bathroom as much. So that's one thing to do. Another thing is looking to an anti-inflammatory diet. Turmeric, quercetin, cooking with curries and turmeric. You can take them in capsules also. Eating lots of leafy green vegetables and berries. Anything that's high in ORAC. So ORAC is the score for how we measure a type of antioxidant. So it stands for oxygen radical absorption capacity. And if you can Google ORAC, ORAC, food list, and then look at it and try to get to 100,000 a day. So eat your blueberries and your dark chocolate and your turmeric and some, throw in the spices and throw in the vegetables and the fruits that have high ORAC. Get to 100,000 a day. That sort of that helps to turn off the anti-inflammatory, that turns off the inflammation in the body from all the free radical damage. And your pain relief cream topically absorbs into the skin and locally decreases inflammation. That diet would do it from the inside as well. So it's sort of a great 1-2 punch to include your cream and then include that diet and that lifestyle of drinking the more water, making sure we're moving, doing deep, slow, deep breaths throughout the day helps to pump the lymph. So we're moving our body, just going for a gentle walk if we can, or swim, doing the deep breathing, drinking the water, using the pain cream topically, and eating that diet or taking those supplements and diet that support the anti-inflammatory properties inside us really goes a long way to decreasing pain. Or if the pain was caused by that inflammation and that dehydration, would then eliminate it.
But I'll tell you what, those are three. I believe in all three of those. As soon as I live in the tropics. I live in Puerto Rico, and I'll tell you, as soon as I start to get a headache, I start to get sick, I just head for the bottle of Fiji. Nice. I mean, you just got to get that in, and then I agree with you. Coconut water. If you're too far gone, get that coconut water. But those are really great preventative and ways to do it. I can't emphasize that enough. That I completely agree that those are things that can really help with pain. as well.
Yeah. So now let's talk to the people who are already on pain meds or are already in pain. For Painkiller Awareness Month, what tips do you have to help them?
Well, we're going to be putting out tips on a daily basis on the our Facebook page throughout the month, and I think the probably a fair amount of the ones I just shared in that last group are really crucial. I think that the most important thing is, if you're on pain meds, is to get an exit plan.
Mm-hmm.
Just now, you might say, I just can't do it. And maybe you can't do it. Maybe you can't see yourself doing it now. But there's a recent study that just came out that was an independent study. I believe there's 6 different universities were involved in the study. And in their study, more than half of the people who were taking opioids, when they started using topical pain relief along with their opioids, so topical pain relief, like real-time pain relief, and they would apply the product, and they took their opioids at the same time. They found that within 6 months, more than half of the people had completely eliminated the opioids. Now, this was an independent study, and it was something that our company had nothing to do with. We just saw the report come out about 6 months ago, I think it was, and it's an amazing report. It's what we've seen happening for 20 years, but there was no independent studies. We've seen it over and over again. And so topical pain relief could be your best exit plan for getting off of opioids and other kinds of NSAIDs or acetaminophen. And when we were talking earlier, we talked about the fact we started off helping athletes, and then we moved really to helping people with arthritis and other ailments. And I'll tell you what, when we see somebody who's struggling with mobility, we get excited because we know that our product can have a dramatic difference in a very short period of time if they apply it on a regular basis. We get excited about people struggling with mobility, and once they stop struggling with mobility and they can start moving, we know that the blood flow in the body helps a lot as well. Those are the greatest success stories. And then on top of that, if they can then be at the same time working off of those painkillers that are really wearing their body down, really dumping all sorts of things into their body that make it hard for them to function, all right, boy, that's step 3. And then you see people that can all of a sudden, you're getting those letters, they're saying, I was able to sleep all night for the first time in 14 years.
Wow.
I was able to garden for the first time, in a decade or two. I was able to go dancing. One of the most heart-wrenching stories that I ever heard, and it was from a lady, Mrs. Colin, okay, and she was from Brooklyn, New York, and she had been struggling with pain for her entire life, like 30 years, and her and her husband used to go out and walk every day around the block, in the old neighborhood. And all of a sudden, about 2 decades ago, she was not able to do that anymore. And her husband had told her that, I'm going to find something for your knees. It was your knees before I die. That's my goal in life, to find something for your knees. And he was a World War II veteran. He was 95 years old, and he ran into one of the real-time pain relief vendors at the Veterans Hospital. And he tried the product on his elbow, and it works well. He said, I want to take this home. I want to buy some and take it home for my wife. And so he did. And he came back. The gentleman would go to the Veterans Hospital every 2 weeks. And he had been seeing this gentleman come in, but he never stopped and talked until this time here. He went back 2 weeks later, and he didn't see him. First time he hadn't seen him in a couple of years. And so then he waited, and the next week he came back, he didn't see him again. And so he went and asked about him, and they said, well, didn't know if you heard, but Mr. Cullen, he died. And he was, this guy's name was Glenn Roy, that was sold the product, and he was devastated. He said, but there's a note here from his wife, and she wants to see you. And so he went over to visit her, and she said, listen, I want to tell you, she said, my husband brought this product home. She said, I started putting it on my knees. She goes, within 2 days, I was walking. By the 4th day, we took a walk around the block in the old neighborhood like we'd done before. And she said, we did that for 3 days. And she goes, and then she said, my husband died of a heart attack. And of course, you get choked up about that. And she said, oh, she goes, he lived to get this for me. He believed it was his mission. And when he saw that I could walk, she goes, he was suffering. He had a lot of pain. She goes, but he was committed to finding this product. And so she just said that she just thanked him so much for helping her find the product. And so that's the kind of story when people are they're not mobile. Those are the kinds of people that we love to help, love to see the product make a difference in our life. And those success stories are so much fun.
I love it. I love that they got to walk together before he passed away, that they had that back since they hadn't had it for so many years, that, you know, that connection, that walking around the block together. And just in a few days to go from being immobile to be able to walk, because the pain cream has so many wonderful ingredients. I want to talk about the ingredients. So you have a few different products, and you have this great offer. You're giving a sample, basically. They can buy it for $1 and try it out. $paincream.com. So everyone can afford $1 and experience it for themselves. And on that website, if you scroll all the way down near the bottom, there's this list, and it shows 17 different ingredients that are in the pain cream that all help to decrease inflammation and pain in the body, whereas all the other ones just have one ingredient. They just have menthol. And then you also have one that has even more than 17, because you have a CBD, a hemp one that has hemp in it. Tell us about the ingredients. What are your favorite ingredients that are in that are really, really proud that are in your creams?
Well, first I'll make a comment about the offer. We do make that offer for $1. We even pay the shipping. It's no auto ship. We're a sample to sell company, and we just want to we like to get product out. If we saw you in person, we would give you the product for free to sample. But since that's not the case, we're talking through a podcast today. Then we let you pay $1 for it, and I can assure you it costs us more to ship it to you than $1. But that way we both have a little bit of skin in the game, and we want you to try it when you get it. And it's just a great product to do that with. And so we've kept our philosophy as a sample to sell company through this offer. The ingredients that are in the product, what's happened is we started off at the very beginning. We had about 9 ingredients in the product, in our original product. And then through the years, we've added as studies come out. For example, like I was down in the Caribbean, one of the islands, I think it was Grenada, and they were selling nutmeg oil, and they had some research that was saying that nutmeg oil is great for fighting inflammation, and so we came back and turned it over to our developers, our product developers, our formulators, and they did the research on it and came back and said, yeah, this is a real effective ingredient. So we added nutmeg oil to some of our products, and that's how it kind of goes. And so usually our most recent formulation has the most ingredients in it. What's really great about our product is this. So I want to be clear on this here. When you sell a topical pain relief, the FDA does not allow you to make any claims about fighting inflammation, because they don't recognize any ingredients to fight inflammation on topical. But we use 14 ingredients that are known to fight inflammation. Everything from, we use emu oil, we use raspberry oil, we use one of the most recent ones we started using is wasabi extract. And on a trip to Asia, we found that that's being used and is very, very popular. It sounds hot, okay, but there's no heat to it at all. But these are the kinds of ingredients that we use, and we use a lot of the ones that have been used for years in terms of aloe vera and arnica. and products like that as well, ingredients like that as well. But the main focus for us right now is just to kind of see what's out there. We constantly are doing investigating. We're constantly doing testing. It's not unusual for a product of ours that comes out that we're about a year from the time that we have what we call our basic formulation. Do we feel like it's ready to go? It probably goes through 6 to 8 different small batches that we make in the lab, and then get them out to people for trying in them, and then we eventually get the final one. It's about a year process for us to do it, to make sure all those ingredients are interacting well together. But that's really a lot of the focus as far as the menthol itself. The menthol is used to stop the pain, okay? And then beyond that, every other ingredient has a different action. And I'm not the formulator, so I'm not going to be able to. I used to know all of that back when we had 8 ingredients when I helped create it, and even then we had a doctor and a chemist that were involved. So I was always the 3rd most expert in that group, and now I'm like the 15th most expert. But the thing is that when you research them, we find that the inflammation is we focus on ingredients that have been known to do that in the past. We don't make any claims about them. We let people decide for themselves. But obviously the root cause of almost all pain is inflammation, as far as in the joints and muscles. And so that's kind of been our focus, to put those kinds of ingredients into the products.
One of your ingredients is calendula, and I've used like I've used just calendula for pain relief. And for my son, there's a calendula cream when he was a baby and he had a rash and he was in pain, and just that alone was helpful. And then I have for earaches, I have a calendula, and I just that alone was helpful. And I noticed that calendula is in your formula, along with other things that I really believe in. So it was really cool to see that. I'm looking down the list of all the ingredients, and every single one of them I'd use independently. So I'm like, wow, this is so cool. All these together, all these ingredients are ones that I really believe in and I've had experience with. And I thought that was really neat. And then, of course, you're going around the world and finding what works in other countries, and that make sure there's studies, and then you test it out, and then you continually every year come out with more and more effective formulas. Now you have, so tell us about the different products, because I've experienced the Max and just the original the pain cream that you have, but you also have a foot cream for pain, and you have a few other ones. What is when would someone, I mean, obviously use it on the foot, but is a foot cream for like what, plantar fascia? I mean, again, you can't say about the diagnosis, but someone who has arthritis and cramps and plantar fasciitis would use the foot cream, or just anyone that would have pain in their feet or they have tired feet. Can you talk a bit about the foot cream?
I'll be glad to. And by the way, I find myself in the place I normally find myself in, that on this podcast, I'm the 2nd most expert on our ingredients. And so any of the ingredients that you want to talk about or share information about, that would be great. But what we do with these different, we have a base that we have a base of about 8 ingredients that we typically use in every single product that we do, because that's our original and we know how great it works. And then what happens is we go ahead and take a look at it and say, okay, well, what do we want to add to make this a targeted for foot cream? And so with foot cream, one of the things we added was tea tree oil, because we know that a lot of people have trouble with fungus. And so tea tree oil is an antifungal, so that's great. We added, the skin on the feet is 30 times as thick as is other parts of the body. And so it's much more of a moisturizer. And it's designed to help with cracked skin and stuff like that as well. A lot of people will use the foot cream on their back because it does. It's a little bit. I don't want to say it's a little bit stronger, but it feels a little bit stronger than our regular pain cream, and so they'll like that on their back, and it can be used anywhere. Now, one thing is we actually can say it works for plantar fasciitis, because the FDA does allow us to say that it relieves pain for arthritis. And as you know, there's well over 100, I think it's around 160 different types of arthritis. And so plantar fasciitis is a type of arthritis. And so, we are allowed to say that, you can use this there and relieve pain for that. As a matter of fact, the state of California recognizes fibromyalgia as a type of arthritis.
Oh, wow.
And so that is even, it's on their official website. So there's things, so any type of arthritis, we are free to talk about it relieving pain on. And that's, plantar fasciitis is a real troublesome one because it's really hard to rest. But we find it to be effective there. A lot of people like to layer our product, and we don't have any scientific scientific proof that this works differently. But it's really interesting because everybody's kind of their own mad scientists. They're like, well, I use hemp oil plus first, then when that sinks in, I use Max, and then I use foot cream on top of that to kind of seal it in. And people always they send us these letters telling us, here's the way to use it. This is the best way to use it. But everyone has a little bit different. Like the Max has a peppermint oil, and I'll tell you the thing about the peppermint oil is you can feel that. It's not unusual if I put that on my lower back, and then the next day I take a shower. I can still feel that heat, that peppermint oil heating up a little bit in my back. But it feels like it's really deep in there, And so it really comes down to what your body reacts to. But the focus usually is we balance how much menthol. Like Max has the most menthol in it, and Max was created. Actually, we're a sponsor of the professional bull riders, and we have a lot of bull riders that ride. When you get thrown off a bull, it hurts, and so they wanted something stronger. And as a matter of fact, they really want us to do like a real heavy menthol one. We said, guys, we're not going to do it, but we'll go up to our maximum, which is 1.5%. And we'll include other ingredients that will give you that deep penetrating feeling like peppermint oil and stuff like that. And we created that. And, somebody was telling me the other day, they're one of our customers. They sent an email and they said they were at a PBR event, and this cowboy got thrown off the bull. And we sponsor a number of riders, maybe 10 to 12 riders. And he got thrown off the bull, and he was climbing back on, and somebody in the stands, the customer was in the stands, and he said, hey, listen, he said, what do you use for pain? I mean, you guys taking painkillers, whatever? And the guy, he said, I use real-time pain relief. And he goes, and listen, I don't care what everybody tells you here. You get in that back room, every one of these guys is rubbing real-time pain relief all over their body. And the guy's like, well, if everybody uses real-time pain relief, I'm going to go ahead and order some myself. And he called into our the next day and ordered product because he was told that. And so that was kind of a neat story, but that's how we created that product. We created it for that group of individuals, and made it's available for everybody. And it is our best-selling product. It's our best-selling product by unit. We sell more tubes of Max than anything else.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so there's the Max, which is the biggest seller, and it was designed for bull riders. The foot cream, which you can put anywhere, but it's thicker and more moisturizing. And then you've got the original just pain relief cream. What are there any other? Because I know you've got a bunch of different ones. Are there any other ones you'd want to talk about or feature today?
Well, I think probably just two products I would just mention. One is the hemp oil plus, and everybody's out there and getting. There's a big rush for CBD and hemp oil, and we use our hemp oil uses a CBD extract. It's a isolate that has 0.0% THC. It comes from industrial hemp, and actually, our hemp oil product is the only product that is federally legal that for pain relief.
Wow.
The federal government still has a big beef with what claims you can make, and even though they permit industrial hemp to be grown, is approved by the DEA, and they grow it, and that's who we use. We work with farmers who are approved by the DEA, and they only grow industrial hemp. They don't grow marijuana. But there's a big battle between the states and the federal government. But we followed the rules with the FDA, and ours is the only one that's the only legal product out there as of this recording that you can buy federally legal in every state. And it really is amazing. You know, sometimes you wonder when you hear, well, is this stuff going to really work or not? And there's a lot of talk about it, and people swear by it. They're very passionate about it, and then other people are scared of it. But we started using it, and I'll tell you, the combination that seems to be the one that is the most popular, when people only use two products, if they use the hemp oil plus first, and they use Max second, they seems to be kind of a life-changing combination for people that are experiencing chronic pain. And the reason I know that is because, you know, we still have hundreds or even thousands of vendors who go to local events and sell it, say the New York State Fair or the New York City Marathon or the Boston Marathon. And when they sell products there, they sample. They let people try it on first. As a matter of fact, they don't even encourage them to buy it. They say, try this on, wait 2 or 3 minutes, let's put the second layer on of a different product, and go walk around, and if you feel different, if it feels better, come on back, we'll sell you some. And you know what? A lot of people come back. And that's how you know. And the people who don't come back, it's really funny because the next day the phone's ringing from that area and saying, I should have got it, I forgot to get it. And you know, I ran the race, but my knee hurts now. And so that's still the sample to sell concept, and that's how you know you have a good product. But those two, that combination with a hemp oil, and we use so many great ingredients, and the active ingredient in hemp oil is arnica. It's, you know, arnica is a fantastic product. And, you know, I did mention earlier that we use MSM in almost all of our products as well, which is a long time known as a painkiller, from a plant-based painkiller. So there's a lot of I'd say those are the 4 main topicals, pain relief that I focus on. We do a sports cream, we do a hand cream, we do a gentle. Those are all fine products, but our top 4 would be hemp oil. We actually sell the highest dollar volume of hemp oil because it's more expensive. We sell the most units of the Max, and then pain cream and foot cream. Original pain cream and foot cream are tied for third as far as how well they sell, and I think they're, you know, both very effective. We could never change our original pain relief, or, you know, we have so many people that just believe it's everything, and so we don't change that. But also, this is not a pain relief product, but I do want to mention we just came out with an eczema cream. And the eczema cream has hemp oil in it as well. And that was the thing. We have a lot of family members who have eczema, and we've been one of them who lives here in Hawaii, who I'm visiting right now, with just a 5-year-old grandson, and we just felt like we wanted to do something to help with eczema, and that product is just doing fantastic and seeing great results. It's only been out for about 3 months now, but I think that's going to become that's already become our best-selling non-topical pain relief product. So it's a pretty exciting product.
So you're seeing that your grandson's eczema is clearing up, or that it's
gone.
Really?
Gone. It was like raw skin. The thing that was crazy about this was that we began working on this 4 years ago, and what happened was they started, you know, had gone to the doctors, and you get to, you know, try steroids, try this, try that, you know. Well, we kept creating products, and we would create a product, and they would try it, and we were trying to get a product that didn't burn, because that's if it burns, kids aren't going to use it. Or they're not, and then if you don't use it, it doesn't work. It's the same feeling we've had with our pain cream. We had the first pain cream that didn't smell like you just came out of you know, your grandmother's medicine cabinet, you know. And we always said, you know, people aren't going to try. They're not going to use product if they smell bad. And so if they don't use it because it smells bad, then it's not going to work. Well, that was our philosophy there. Well, our philosophy with the eczema was it was all about the if it stung when you put it on, if it hurt when you put it on, then kids aren't going to want to put it on. And I know eczema is for a lot more than just kids, but that's the market we were looking at. And so it took us. We kept doing it, and we kept getting responses back. And two that we tested a lot with, Josiah and Jude, One lived in Oklahoma, the dry deal, and the other one lived in Colorado at the time. Now he lives here in Hawaii. But we kept trying, and then we get back like that didn't hurt too bad or whatever. And so we kept adjusting it. And boy, I'll tell you, sometime it was about July of this year, we got a product where they put it on. We're asking, when you have at that time a 4-year-old asking to put it on again, it's not stinging, and all of a sudden started seeing the skin just clearing up. And so we took it, and after testing it for a couple months there, we went and put it into, we bottled it basically and put it in a tube and started selling it in September. And it's just done great. And the response we're getting from people that are trying it, most of our customers are older, so they don't have eczema problem, but they all know somebody who does, and so they buy one for a grandchild or a son or daughter, and give it to them, and the stories coming back are fantastic. And so we continue to expand our line into other areas and to look for ways to help people. And we really are a family business that's committed to helping people, and we look into our family to see where they need help. And our family's pretty big, so we need a lot of help. So we find products that will help, and then we create those products around that.
I love it. It's so exciting that your grandson's eczema is cleared up.
Yeah, the 2 grandsons, Josiah and Jude.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really exciting. Yeah. So, and from the just so you know, and so the listener knows, from the naturopathic standpoint, the first thing that a naturopath would do for anyone who has eczema is look into their diet. Food allergies and often gluten can contribute to eczema, because gut health, the gut is a reflection. It reflects its health in the skin, and I've seen people resolve skin issues when they find out what their body is allergic to, and also removing gluten. But the body also needs, so what's interesting about CBD is that the brain and the body makes CBD, that there's receptors in the brain and in the cells for CBD. And so I know we're all, people out there are afraid of pot, of marijuana. But when we look at hemp is a totally different animal, but a totally different plant. And the CBD in these plants is a mirror of, it's a reflection of what we have inside us, what our body makes naturally. And when we are deficient in our omegas, so omega 3, 6, and 9, our body cannot make enough CBD. And so when we take it exogenously, it actually really helps our deficiency. So it's interesting. We also see that people who are deficient in their omegas, omega 3, 6, and 9, that they sometimes will develop skin issues, lung issues like asthma, dry eyes, skin issues, digestive issues, hormone issues. And so looking at shifting the diet and supplementing when needed can really help them come back into balance to handle that deficiency. But it's interesting. So your grandsons really responded well to that formula. Was it when you added the CBD that they saw the best results?
Yeah, it was. It was when we added the CBD, number one. And number two, it's interesting because I know we adjusted a couple of other ingredients out of it, but the CBD is very soothing. I think it has made it very soothing too, and it took the sting out of it as well. So it's been an interesting process. And my daughter-in-law, one of my daughter-in-laws she's in charge of our production right now, and she's a tremendous researcher and works real close with a couple of formulators, and so they're constantly going at it and trying to find it. But I think that we're going to look at CBD in another having it in other products as well. Something else I wanted to mention to you, I forgot to say this. I was talking about how we create products for, and starts a lot of times with family needs. My wife has always had trouble with her lips in the warm, cold weather, or chapping and stuff like that, and goes or even in the extreme sun, and so she always tried all these different types of lip balms, and so when we realized, we thought, hey, let's why don't we create a lip balm?
Yeah.
And so we have a medicated lip balm that I'm telling you, we that's been out for about a year and a half now, and I've never met anybody who's tried it that doesn't say this is the best lip balm ever. Fantastic for relieving pain, cracks, everything. And so, if you ever get those lips really hurting, you need a good lip balm. Real Time Pain Relief has one there.
You guys have a few other products that aren't related to pain. When I first interviewed Sherry Weaver back in episode 257, I went to the site and bought. You had sort of this box of everything. It was like the best discount. Buy
Right.
the entire chest of everything, and I sent it to my aunt and uncle. And she, obviously loved the pain creams, but she couldn't get over the how luxurious your face creams were, and they're very affordable. And she was just like, I cannot believe, she used the word luxurious. She said it was her face was just like drinking it in, and it felt so good on her skin. And I just thought that was really neat. So I wanted to let you know that the feedback for your face cream is it's luxurious.
Well, that's awesome. And that's our new Juvena brand. I will tell you this. Running a family business is awesome because you're training the next generation. It's a lot of fun. Boy, but I'll tell you what, that face cream, we had some, let's just say, real heated discussions about ingredients in that face cream. It was kind of fun. Nobody left the family, but it may have been close a couple times. Everybody, our family and Ron's family as well, are very passionate about what we do, and they want to be the best. And so that took us probably an extra 6 months to get that to marketplace, because to get agreement that everybody felt like the face cream was just right. And I'll tell you what, I really do. I personally don't use a face cream, but I think that it did come out to be really great, especially for using the day cream and then being able to put makeup on because it afterwards. And the night cream is almost like a miracle cream. It really helps in a lot of areas, and but we don't call it a miracle cream, but it is almost like a miracle cream. But that's one of the ones when you talk about how good that is, I smile and cringe at the same time, because it was painful getting there when you have such a great group of strong-willed family members all trying to decide what they think is the right thing to be in the face cream.
It would have been really neat to like come out with 3 different face creams based on, or whatever, how many different face creams based on your family's arguments, and then like had your customers choose
Choose it, yeah.
face cream A, B, and C. You guys choose.
Yeah.
And then
that would be very interesting to do.
Yeah. Then the argument's out of your hands, right? Then it's up to but it's great. So you guys did a really good job. It is great. Now, so listeners that want to try it out can go to dollarpaincream.com. But I also know that if there's listeners who are just like, I don't need to try it, I just want to buy the Max or the foot cream or the hemp, or the foot cream and the hemp, or the Max and the hemp, or whatever, everything you've talked about, or the face cream, or the or the stuff for the kids for the eggs, or the stuff for the eczema. So if they go to dollarpaincream.com and they get the sample, then the next step, the website then offers them, hey, if you want, you can actually buy some stuff. So that's the best place to go to try it out. What's the name of the cream that helps eczema?
It's just called eczema cream.
Oh, okay.
We're pretty original. Real Time Pain Relief, eczema cream, foot cream. Naming's not our specialty. We keep it simple.
Right? I don't know if I can remember that.
Yeah, exactly. But listen, if people want to try a number of different things, I'd recommend still going to dollarpaincream.com, and there's an offer for $14.95. It's like ridiculous. It's like $65 in product. It gets you you do get the hemp oil to try, a 1.5 ounce tube, a 1.5 ounce tube of the Max, 1.5 ounce tube of the pain cream, and I think you get 1/2 of the foot cream as well. I'm not sure all that's in it, but I think it's 6 different tubes in there, and that's the best way to try everything. Again, we're going to pay the shipping, so your total cost is going to be $14.95, and it's a great value, and that's a great way to get introduced to the product really inexpensively. Because if you bought the 1.5 ounce tube of the hemp oil plus, it would cost you $20. So this is $5 cheaper plus 5 or 6 extra tubes for free, and no shipping. So I think that's a pretty good value.
That is incredible value. I love it. That's what I did. I bought, the big package of everything that I could send to my different family members, and buying the package so they can sample everything and try everything first and see which combination works best for them. Let's talk a little bit about the controversy in parabens and the carcinogens that are we're now becoming aware that in a lot of cosmetics, there are heavy metals and carcinogens and, all kinds of really nasty preservatives and things that would be harmful to our bodies. And because our skin absorbs, so this is why your pain cream works, is because our skin absorbs into the tissue and even into the lymph system and into the, bloodstream. Like whatever we put on our skin goes in our body. And that's why we need to really be careful with our cosmetics, our skin creams, hand creams, all the, shampoos, everything that we use that goes on our body, it touches our skin, can, either harm us or help us, right? So, what do you do to make sure that all your products are really safe?
Well, first of all, I have to say I always get a kick out of some of the other topical pain relievers who they talk about how great their products penetrate. And then when you mention that they use parabens, they say, well, those don't really penetrate, So it's like the parabens know not to penetrate, but the good ingredients, they penetrate. So we've always thought that's a ridiculous argument, and so we don't use parabens in any of our products. We avoid anything with metals. I mean, there's constantly adjustments. New, especially where you run into trouble in keeping yourself it's the it's I'm trying to think the word, but it's in your stabilizers. Okay, your stabilizers ultimately are where you run into trouble keeping your product, and the parabens are our stabilizer. We use absolutely as many natural ingredients as we can. We do use a couple of chemicals that we believe to be safe, but it's very, very minor. So we're not all natural, but I think it's probably 95 to 98% that is natural, and the ones we use we believe are safe, and we believe that they're really important for the consistency in the product. But as a general rule, we haven't used parabens. We did use parabens at the very beginning because there was no real discussion about parabens. It wasn't out there. About a decade ago, when it started, people started talking about parabens and the dangers of them. We did the research on it, and we took them out of our product right away. And so anytime we see anything that's dangerous, we make sure we don't have it in any of our products. And of course, the easiest way to do that is by using the natural ingredients. But even then, you have to be cautious of some of your natural ingredients and make sure that they're being used right and that they're not dangerous, because there are natural ingredients that are dangerous, and you got to be careful of that as well.
Absolutely. Your family feels that your products are safe, so that are completely safe to put on your grandchildren and to put on a 5-year-old and to give to your family. So, I love that. I love that when family businesses use their own products and they develop them for themselves and for their loved ones. That's really cool. Can you share another testimonial that comes to mind that really excites you about the products over the last 20 years? Is there one that comes to mind that you just get so excited about?
Well, I have in front of me a whole list of testimonials that talk about people that help with rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, and all sorts of degenerative arthritis. And I love the kinds of things that people say in them. I saw one here. Thank you for helping me get back to me. So those are all really cool, and I could go through a lot of them here, but I'll tell you another one that I just know just from a personal level that was really cool. So we sell the product at the New York City Marathon, and this guy calls us up the next day after the New York City Marathon and says, "Hey, I need to buy some product." And he said, "Okay." And he said, we always ask where he heard about it. He goes, "Well," and I forget the person's name. He goes, "Well, a friend of ours here from our small town, and I believe it was in Kansas, and she went to run the New York City Marathon, and she's 82 years old, and she came by your booth and saw the product, and she didn't buy any." He said, "So the next day she was running the race, and they have trackers now, so you can watch online where people are at." He said, "We were watching her. We noticed that around the 11-mile mark, she started to slow down. And we noticed that around the 13-mile mark, she stopped. And she stopped, and it was 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And I realized that she dropped out of the race. After 15 minutes, he goes, I figured she dropped out of the race, and so I just turned it off and went about my day." He said, "I saw her this morning at coffee, and he goes, 'What happened? I saw you stopped.' She goes, 'Well, my knee got so bad I couldn't continue.' And she goes, and I was standing there at the stop, and a man came running by and said, 'Hey, I got these free travel packs at the Marathon Expo. Try them. They should help your knee.' And gave her 2 packs of real-time pain relief. And she said, I was able to rub those on. And she goes, after I got them, she goes, within 5 minutes, I started walking, because I guess she had been stopped for about 10 minutes before he came by. And I began walking. She goes, and I was able to start running. And she goes, I'm 82 years old, and I finished second. I finished the race and finished second in my age group." And he goes, "All I know is that it was able to get her from being stopped and being ready to quit the race and finish the race." He goes, "I'm buying some for my back." And so those are the ones that make you excited, because you're having a difference in people's lives. And how great that instead of her flying back to Kansas, having not been able to finish it at 82 and maybe never being able to try it again, to turn around and finishing second in her age group and feeling that good about herself. Mm-hmm. So that makes us happy.
That is so cool. What is the most surprising use? So like I told you about Sherry Weaver uses it to help her fall asleep at night. On the top of your head, do you know of like a surprising use that you were like, "Oh, I never thought someone could use our pain cream for that," or "I never thought it would help for that"?
Probably my wife had a lot of migraines many years ago. And, migraines, they almost say like there's nothing you can do. I mean, there's all sorts of little remedies or whatever. But once a migraine starts, you're kind of in for it, And amazing to me how many people have told me that they rub the real-time pain relief on the back of their neck as soon as they feel a migraine coming on, and also right between their eyes, above their nose, and they rub it in those 2 places, and how they believe that has stopped migraines in its track. Never thought that would be possible. Can't prove that scientifically. I'm just saying that the people saying that they felt the migraines coming on, and apparently when you have a migraine, you can tell when it's going to happen. And they've been able to say they've put on real-time pain relief, and then they never got the migraine. And I think that's pretty cool.
That is really, really cool. Now the product, not only does it decrease inflammation, but the formula increases circulation. Is that correct? Like it actually helps when you rub it on, like physical, like massaging will increase circulation, but that some of the ingredients help to increase circulation. So it's bringing more blood flow to the area, bringing more oxygen to the area, carrying away the waste from the cells better. and helping to relax the muscles and support the healthy blood flow. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think ingredients like menthol, I think peppermint oil. Well, of course, peppermint oil we know for sure. I mean, those ingredients, I think historically are known to increase inflammation, increase circulation, blood circulation in areas, and so for sure, I think that's a major impact on helping something helping it feel better and getting it mobile again.
Mm-hmm. So cool. We could talk for hours about how neat this is. Um, is there anything that you feel is left unsaid, or is there anything that you really want to make sure you cover? Any topic that to convey to the listeners to wrap up today's interview?
Well, I think you've done a pretty good job taking us through most of it, Ashley. I think in general, I feel like if we could just focus for a second on Painkiller Awareness Month.
Mm-hmm.
I would recommend that anybody that you know that's been taking opioids or painkillers for a long period of time, that based on this new study that came out that is posted on painkillerawareness.org's Facebook page, I think that I'd just really recommend that you help them get a tube of real-time pain relief and start using it, not instead of, but along with, and see if it makes as much of a difference as this report says. Remember, I think it was over 50% of the people in a 6-month period of time completely eliminated the opioids. Imagine, and others had decreased. Many others had decreased the amount they were taking. And keep in mind, most people are always, once you get onto opioids and stuff, they constantly have to increase what they take over time because it doesn't do the same, doesn't have the same effect. So definitely, that's what I'd recommend. If you want to help people in your family, you want to help people that you know, that you work with, whatever, and you know that they're taking a lot of painkillers. I think the best thing to do for Painkiller Awareness Month is to connect them with real-time pain relief, and let's see if we can't help them get off of those pills.
Absolutely. What about shipping internationally? We have a lot of wonderful listeners around the world that are not in the United States. Can they go to dollarpaincream.com and have and buy the sample and buy the $14 kit and have it shipped to them internationally? Would they just pay for international shipping, or you only ship to the United States?
Well, that offer only ships to the United States. We do have product available in Canada on Amazon.com. And we are working right now with the UK, Amazon UK, to get that up and running. But we do not do a lot of international shipping. But you certainly can check with on rtpr.com to see what countries that we do ship to. I don't know off the top of my head. I know we've changed recently. I'm not sure if we've added some or taken a couple away, but definitely the easiest two are the offers available in the U.S. And then you can use Amazon.com in Canada.
Amazon.ca.
CA.ca, correct, yes.
Right.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm Canadian.
Okay. I picked that up as we were going through the conversation. I
Right?
didn't know that ahead of time, but I picked it up, yes.
House, about.
Yeah, about, that's the one.
Wonderful. Well, it's been such a pleasure having you on the show today. What would you like to say to wrap up today's interview? Is there a final message that you'd like to give to the listeners?
I'd just personally like to thank you for your effort and what you do here. I think it's fantastic, and I've really enjoyed taking the time to spend with you today, and hope that we've provided some information that's real valuable to your listeners.
I think it's incredibly valuable just knowing that study that so many people were able to decrease or completely eliminate the need for pain medication by using a pain relief cream, and also understanding that substance P that we have diminishing returns when we start with a pain medication, whether it be something sort of innocent over the counter, go to a drugstore and get something that we think is totally safe. The second we start on that road, that the body, we have diminishing returns, we need to take more and more and more and more of it. And that is going to damage our kidneys and liver and potentially kill us or just cause long-term damage. But there is a link to cancer, to leaky gut syndrome, to ulcers, to, I mean, the list goes on and on. What I thought was really interesting about NSAIDs, so Advil being like an NSAIDs will inhibit the body's own anti-inflammatory response. So you're getting less pain or no pain for 4 to 6 hours after you take an NSAID, but you're actually going to bounce back and have a potential for more pain long term and a need for to continue taking more and more and more pain meds because it shuts down the anti-inflammatory response in the body. And it's just this nasty drug that we're hearing more and more about. But like you said, someone could take one too many Tylenol and die, and so we really, really want to be aware. And I'm so happy that you've created Painkiller Awareness Month, the month of December. Let's go to painkillerawareness.org and that directs to your Facebook page where
That's
people
correct.
can,
Yes.
Great. So we can follow that Facebook page and receive the great tips and information that you're going to share all throughout the month of December. And then we can share those posts and help our friends and family that may either be in pain now, or those tips will be really great for them to arm them for the future should they have pain in the future. But it is our responsibility to educate ourselves. Knowledge is power, and knowledge will help us to make the best choices possible. If we don't have the knowledge around it, we'll make the only choices that we think we have, which is going for for over the counter or for prescription pain meds. But when we start to learn more, like acupuncture, for example, it can be incredibly beneficial for pain. Physical therapy, going to a chiropractor, taking your real-time pain relief creams. So there's so many natural alternatives that end up supporting the body's ability to heal itself. And that's what we want to do. We want to get to the root cause, nurture the body, and support the body's ability to heal itself. Because remember, pain is a symptom the body's speaking to us. And the more we just mask it with drugs, I understand there are times where we definitely would want to, right? If you've been in a car accident or you're a burn victim, there's times when we want to help that person be comfortable as much as possible. But most of the people that get on pain medications would find better success with a topical pain cream, with some therapy like massage and chiropractic and acupuncture, some lifestyle changes, something that's actually going to help them come back into balance. And I know my listeners love the idea of supporting their body's ability to heal itself and come back into balance. So I applaud you for the work you do, Tim, in helping people to support their body's ability to heal itself, and especially with Painkiller Awareness Month. Painkillerawareness.org. We can all learn from what you guys are putting out there, all the information, and help as many of our friends and family as possible. Just statistically, the amount of people that are in pain currently, every single one of us knows at least one person, if not more, that's in pain right now. Because statistically, you go to the grocery store, you're going to bump into 5 people that are on pain meds. I mean, it's really crazy. We need to help people tip the scales. And I love the work you're doing. I love the mission you're on. I'm so excited to help you to spread this information.
Well, thank you. I enjoyed it very much.
Absolutely. I just realized one thing I forgot to mention is that I'm going to publish this episode as soon as possible, and people are listening to it right around Thanksgiving. What better time to share this around the Thanksgiving table, to tell the friends and family that you go to Thanksgiving with, for American Thanksgiving, that you share this episode and share this information, share $paincream.com with everyone at the Thanksgiving table, because it's guaranteed if you're at a table of like 6 or more people that someone is in pain or going to be in pain soon or knows someone in pain. It's just, statistically, there are going to be people in pain when we all get together as a family. And so share $paincream.com. Tell them about this episode. Tell them about Tim's mission to help people naturally reduce their need for pain meds by supporting their body's ability to heal itself. And I'm really excited that we can get this message out there at such a time where we've got Thanksgiving, and then right after that we have the holidays like Christmas. So we're kind of in the gift buying mood.
Oh, we are, for
This
sure.
is, I know, I'm definitely going right now. I just thought of some more people in my life that I could buy some tubes of your pain relief cream for Christmas. So I'm very excited to put this under the tree. So I know my listeners are starting to go, oh, wow, this is such a great idea for a Christmas gift. I'm excited. So excellent. And now that I planted that seed in the listeners' mind, they'll wanna definitely go to dollarpaincream.com and help their friends and family as well through the holiday season. Excellent, Tim. Well, enjoy your wonderful vacation in Hawaii, visiting your family there. Happy Thanksgiving to you and to all the listeners.
Thank you very much.
If you have blood sugar issues and you're looking to finally resolve them, I would love to work with you. Please go to bloodsugarcoach.com, put in your information, and you'll be able to book a free 30-minute session with me. And we can see how I can help you. I have personally resolved my own type 2 diabetes. I am no longer a diabetic, and I did so with natural medicine. I've gone on to help a lot of people to also completely resolve their blood sugar issues so that they now have normal blood sugar. So if you'd like to no longer have blood sugar issues, please go to bloodsugarcoach.com. That's bloodsugarcoach.com. I look forward to working with you. Are you looking to optimize your health? Are you looking to get the best supplements at the lowest price? For high quality supplements and to talk to someone about what supplements are best for you, go to takeyoursupplements.com, and one of our fantastic True Health coaches will help you pick out the right supplements for you that are the highest quality and the best price. That's takeyoursupplements.com. takeyoursupplements.com. That's takeyoursupplements.com. Be sure to ask about free shipping and our awesome referral program.